Good evening. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another Pro Wrestling Talk video brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the U to the Tube. I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. So, for this video, I'm going to give my review on New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Resurgence that took place this past Sunday. So, I'm going to go over the matches and give my thoughts on the outcomes. But before we get started, voice is still a little hoarse. Still trying to recover from it, but hopefully I'll be fully recovered before the end of this week. I just got to keep attacking this, but do bear with me. All right. Also, be sure to check out the link in the description for Game Beauty for an awesome lineup of video game themed makeup and cosmetic products. And if you see something that interests you and want to make a purchase, be sure to use the promo code BlitzballChamp. You get 10% off of your order. That's right, 10% off of your order. Okay. All right. New NJPW Resurgence took place this past Sunday, May 21st, at the Long Beach Walter Pyramid in Long Beach, California. Overall, thought this was a pretty good show. Had some great matches, and also some unfortunate news along the way. But let's go ahead and get started. We had two pre-show matches. So the first one was a singles match, which was Bateman versus the DKC. This was a pretty decent match to open up the show. Definitely back and forth. It's good to see DKC back into the mix of things, especially after the scuffle that he recently had against Clark Connors, and pretty much Clark Connors ended up squashing him. But it's good to see him back on the card. But pretty decent match, back and forth. And speaking of the DKC, he ended up picking up the victory. Was able to turn a pin over into a crucifix on Bateman and picked up the 1-2-3. So the DKC walks away with the victory. So nice little momentum shift for him to get him back into the mix of things with a victory. So good stuff to the DKC. The second kickoff match, we had another singles match. This was a really good one. We had the android Alex Coughlin taking on the fallen angel Christopher Daniels. Pretty much young guy versus veteran. And you know what? This match was pretty solid. This was a very solid match. Back and forth. We really got to see a clash of styles in this match, you know, and really see an up-and-comer like Alex Coughlin, who went through the New Japan Dojo system and really has blossomed from it to this day. And, of course, Christopher Daniels, a long time veteran in the business. So, I really enjoyed this match from start to finish. This definitely went back and forth. And when it was all said and done, Alex Coughlin, the android, picked up the victory after hitting Christopher Daniels with a jackhammer, pinned him for the 1-2-3. But great match. Definitely enjoyed it. I know it could have been longer. You know, it was a pre-show match, but it was still a solid match for what it was. So, good stuff. Really good stuff. Excuse me. 1 second. So sorry. Alrighty. Now we get into the main card. So for the main card, we start off with a tag team match. We had TMDK's Bad Dude Tito and the NJPW World Television Champion Zack Sabre Jr. against the team of Barbaro, Cavernario, and Virus. Now, I got to give Virus credit. Dude was hanging strong with Zack Sabre Jr.'s chain wrestling and submission attempts, which apparently I was told that Virus and Barbaro Cavernario are veterans as well, but I have to say it was cool to see how Virus handled these submission attempts and chain wrestling of Zack Sabre Jr. This was a very entertaining match. Very entertaining match. And you know what? All four guys looked really solid. I mean, this is my first time seeing Virus and Barbaro Cavernario, but I like what I saw. I definitely like what I saw. And realistically, I still thought TMDK was going to pull this off, but no. Surprisingly to me, Barbaro Cavernario actually picked up the submission victory by submitting Bad Dude Tito, which apparently his finisher, I guess, is called the Cavernario. It was almost kind of like a Romero, like chokehold, almost kind of like like if you were to do a Dragon Sleeper, like Romero's special style. It was really interesting submission. But yeah, got the tap out victory. And as a matter of fact, Bad Dude Tito tapped out pretty quick. So Barbaro, Cavernario, and Virus pick up the victory on the opening of the main card of Resurgence. I was impressed. I did not expect that finish. I really didn't. But hey, I dig it. I definitely dig it. All right, next up, we had the first of our two Strong Women's Championship tournament matches, which was Mercedes Moné versus Stephanie Vaquer. Now, this was my first time seeing Stephanie Vaquer. Kind of came out with that Maleficent kind of look in a way. And Mercedes Moné came out kind of like the Queen of Egypt or something like that with, her wrestling gear. But this was a great match. This was definitely a great match. I'm pretty sure this is the first time these two ladies went against each other. And you know what? It was a great match. Very solid match. Definitely liked what I saw out of Stephanie. And Mercedes. Mercedes was doing her thing. And you know what? It was a good, clean, solid match from both ladies. But Mercedes would not be denied as she, after a few attempts, I think on the third try, she was eventually able to hit Stephanie with the Moneymaker, pinned her for the 1-2-3, and Mercedes Moné is the first to advance to the main event finals for the Strong Women's Championship. So, good showing by her. She awaits the opponent in the main event. Next up, we had the second match in the Strong Women's Championship tournament, as we had Momo Kohgo versus Willow Nightingale. Definitely, the crowd was definitely into this match. A lot of love showed for both Willow and Momo. And you know what? I have to admit, this was probably one of Momo Kohgo's best matches. I mean, she was solid, on point with her offense, with her speed, her high flying ability. And she got a bunch of near falls on Willow. And even with Willow Nightingale showcasing her power on Momo Kohgo had that fighting spirit in overdrive mode. And it definitely showed in this match. I definitely thought this match between the two ladies match was the better match. Because Willow and Momo definitely had great chemistry in this match. And I think this was their first time meeting each other. So I was definitely impressed. Very impressed with this match. This was probably Momo Kohgo's best match. And she's put on some good matches in Stardom. Don't get me wrong. I know she's kind of been booked like a jobber, but she still can put on some solid matches. And of course, Willow Nightingale has been putting on solid matches as well. So this worked out really, really good. But Willow Nightingale was the victor, as she was able to put away Momo Kohgo with Babe with the powerbomb for the 1-2-3. And Willow Nightingale is the next to advance. And therefore, the finals has been set, which we will get to in a little bit. Alrighty. Next up, we had the street fight. No disqualification, anything goes, street fight. Fred Rosser versus Rock Hard Juice Robinson. This match was excellent. This match was brutal, bloody. I mean, Juice Robinson, he got jacked up. I mean, we saw all sorts of stuff being used. Even doors. We even saw doors get used. But, definitely brutal match. Back and forth. It went all over the arena. So, definitely, it definitely played its part very, very well. Now, the tide was beginning to turn in favor of Fred Rosser. And then eventually, Toni Storm showed up, which Toni Storm is Juice Robinson's wife. She hit Fred Rosser with the low blow, but didn't do anything as Fred Rosser had on a cup. And more, this just turned into a 2-on-1. But even after low blow from Juice, a pulp friction, couple of other moves, Fred Rosser was still hanging in there. He was still fighting back, still hanging tough. But just over time, Juice and Toni time just wasn't enough. As after Juice's loose, nailed onto a chair, was enough to finish off Fred Rosser for good. Juice gets the 1-2-3 with Toni Storm sitting on top of his back. And Juice Robinson picks up the victory. So, Juice and Toni time walk away with the last laugh. But a very brutal match. Very brutal match. Definitely went the distance. And, yeah. I don't know if things are over between this story, but we'll see. We'll see. But Juice Robinson and Toni Storm get the last laugh for now. We also had an unfortunate piece of news. So our first piece of unfortunate news, Kyle Fletcher of Aussie Open came out and he got on the mic. He was all properly dressed, suit and tie and all that. Almost looked like a tux. So Kyle Fletcher came out. He had the NJPW Strong Open Tag Team Championships, and also the IWGP Tag Team Championships. Unfortunately, he came out to announce that Aussie Open would be relinquishing both sets of titles due to not being able to compete as a tag team because of Mark Davis being out with an injury. Which, if I remember correctly, it's a knee injury, if I remember correctly. But yeah. But apparently these titles, actually both sets of titles, will be decided at Dominion in June. And it will come down to House of Torture versus Bishamon. Now, I definitely understand the relinquishing of the titles. You know, I get it. And, you know, my prayers, well wishes, speedy recovery for Mark Davis. Hopefully he returns as soon as he can. But my problem with this is, why do both titles have to be on the line? Like, why can't you just have the IWGP tag team titles on the line at Dominion? Why do you need both those and the Strong tag team titles? Why do both have to be on the line in a winner takes all? Like, you could easily just, I mean, you don't even have to have a tournament. Just have, 4 teams compete in a fatal 4-way to crown the new Strong tag team champions. That's really all you got to do. I mean, shoot, you could have TMDK, Shane Haste, Mikey Nichols. You could have Jeff Cobb and the Great O'Khan. You could have the West Coast Wrecking Crew. I mean, shoot, Bushi has been taking a lot of losses. Maybe have him come to the States. Maybe him and T-Time, both masked members of LIJ, have them compete in this match. It's that simple. It's that simple. Why do both sets of titles have to be defended at the same time in a winner-takes-all match? Like, and we already got one of those coming up in Stardom with the red belt and the white belt. It's like, dang, like, it's just annoying. It's just really annoying. It's like, why's there got to be so many winner-takes-all matches? It's ridiculous. Anyway, moving on. Next up, we had the Strong Openweight Championship on the line, as Hikuleo will make his first defense as champion in a rematch against former champion KENTA. The only thing that really kind of bothers me about this match was that it pretty much nearly happened almost the exact same way as their previous match. Especially the start of the match was almost a mirror image. So that was kind of annoying, just a little bit annoying. But aside from that, the match was all right. The match was back and forth, inside the ring and outside of the ring. And really the big turning point was KENTA tossing Hikuleo over the stair railing and one side of the rafters, over the railing and through a table at the bottom. And he was not able to make it back to the ring before the count of 20. KENTA made it back into the ring, I think, with at the count of 16 or 17. And just like that, KENTA wins by countout, and is once again your strong openweight champion for the second time. Not a fan of the outcome. Really not a fan of the outcome. Like, and the reason why it bothers me is like, dang, Hikuleo beat him. You know, beat him, pinned him, fair and square. And then Kenta turns around and he gets the title back via a countout victory. It's just, the title has been hot potato. Just like that. You know, and I just, y'all know, as much as I don't like double champions, I don't like when a title gets hot potatoed. And this was pretty bad. This was pretty bad. But, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Kenta, but it just sucks that it went down like this. Him winning the title back on a count out. Just, it was kind of lame. It was really, really lame. All right, next up we had, let's see. We had the, one second. Okay, sorry about that. Alrighty. Next up, we had the trios match. Had a very exciting trios match. We had the team of Chaos made up of Kazuchika Okada, Tomohiro Ishii, and Rocky Romero taking on the team of Shota Umino and the Blackpool Combat Club's Wheeler Yuta and John Moxley. This was a very exciting match. Definitely back and forth between both teams. Definitely one of my favorite matches on the card, for sure. Definitely went for a long time. I think this was probably maybe the longest or second longest match of the card. And it was great. It was really great. Both teams showcased really well. And it really could have gone either way. But I kind of figured of how it was, the finish was going to be. I kind of figured it was going to be this way, and surely enough it was. But I didn't think it would be Shota Umino that would get the victory for his team. But he was able to put away Rocky Romero with a Death Rider and pin him for the 1-2-3. And there you have it. Shota Umino, Blackpool Combat Club pick up the victory in this exciting trios match. And, you know, you got to remember, Shota Umino and John Moxley are like this. So, hey, maybe Shota Umino becomes a member of the Blackpool Combat Club, represents Japan. You know, why not? Why not? This could become another impressive faction. I mean, you already got Moxley, you got Wheeler Yuta, you got Claudio Castagnoli, you got Bryan Danielson. Hey, put Shota Umino on there, you know? But then at the same time, they probably want to add a lady onto the team. I think they should add a lady onto the team. But, hey, we'll see. But, excellent match. All right, next up, we had the IWGP United States Championship #1 Contenders Tournament match between the Ace, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and the aerial assassin, Will Ospreay. This match was awesome. It definitely pretty much went like a Tanahashi-Ospreay match should be. Could have been longer. Could have been much longer, but you know what? I can't hate. I love both of these competitors. I mean, I've met Hiroshi Tanahashi, so I definitely enjoyed this match. It was definitely back and forth, as it should be. And, you know, I wouldn't have been upset if one or the other won this match. I like both competitors, but I felt like the right man won. The right man won in Will Ospreay. was able to put away the ace after hitting him with a storm breaker for the 1-2-3. So that means that we will have Lance Archer versus Will Ospreay at Dominion in June. And the winner of that match will then go on to face Kenny Omega, the champion. So, which that match will then happen at Forbidden Door. So, that's going to be exciting. A lot to look forward to. But it's come down to Will Ospreay versus Lance Archer. Winner gets Omega at Forbidden Door. All right. And now for the main event of NJPW Strong Resurgence. The NJPW Strong Women's Championship Finals came down to two sisters. Mercedes Moné versus Willow Nightingale. And Mercedes came out with new ring gear. Snow White inspired ring gear. It looked like that was Snow White. But history is being made. The first time, not only two ladies main eventing a New Japan Pro Wrestling event, but two sisters main eventing a New Japan Pro Wrestling pay-per-view. This is big. This is really, really big. And you know what? It was definitely good to see these ladies go at it. Because I think this is the first time they've wrestled each other as well. But these ladies definitely went at it back and forth. I mean, Mercedes was doing her thing. Willow was doing hers. And the crowd was so into it from start to finish. They were so into it. I mean, the pyramid went off. Because it was hype. This was big for both ladies. Unfortunately, this was where the second set of unfortunate bad news happened. While this was a very enjoyable match, there was a point where Mercedes was getting ready to get up on the top turnbuckle. And as she was placing her foot down, she slipped and fell off the turnbuckle onto the outside of the ring. And apparently the word is she suffered a broken ankle. Now, number one, I give her mad kudos. She was able to go back in the ring and, finish the match. I mean, she did do a few more spots, just that didn't require her standing. She was able to do, a little bit more. But of course, it was obvious that she was hurt. She was definitely hurt. Willow Nightingale did hit her with a power bomb, and apparently she was supposed to kick out, but she couldn't move. So the ref had to kind of make it look like she kicked out. But a second babe with a power bomb put away Mercedes Moné for the 1-2-3. And ladies and gentlemen, Willow Nightingale is your first ever NJPW Strong Women's Champion. I have to say, the belt looked pretty cool as well. The belt looked pretty cool. Matches Willow's gear. She wore the lavender, the purple. Excuse me. But two things. Number one, definitely happy for Willow Nightingale. This, I believe, is pretty much her first major championship. On a big brand like New Japan Pro Wrestling, this is huge for her. This is big. a championship like this, being the first in a promotion like New Japan Pro Wrestling, this is huge for Willow Nightingale. She deserves it. Secondly, let's also keep it real. I do still believe it was obvious Mercedes was meant to win this match. It was already shown, evidence was there, that she was supposed to kick out of the Babe with a powerbomb. And it definitely looked like they had to call an audible. They had to call an audible because Mercedes was hurt. Not only that, word has it that Mercedes signed a new deal with New Japan Pro Wrestling / Stardom. So, dates weren't posted, but she's re-signed to continue on. Now, she's going to have to, get surgery and recover from her broken ankle. Speedy recovery for Mercedes. But yeah, I think things were initially in place for Mercedes to win this match. So, let's just keep that in mind. It's not to take away from Willow, but Mercedes was meant to win. Let's just keep that in mind. Especially with the evidence right there. But, aside from that, congratulations, Willow Nightingale. She deserves it. Definitely did her thing. And it's good to see her have a championship around her waist. So, I hope she has a great run. I hope she gets showcased with that title in AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Ring of Honor Wrestling, everywhere she goes. So, good stuff. Overall, good show. Definitely a good show. Like I said, the injuries, very unfortunate. But hopefully, speedy recovery for all those that are currently injured. And actually, there's a handful of folks injured. Taiji Ishimori is injured, so he had to forfeit his final match for the Best of Super Juniors tournament, so he's out. Dakota Kai apparently tore her ACL, so Dakota Kai is out injured. Liv Morgan is out injured, so Raquel and Liv had to relinquish the women's tag team championships in WWE. Mark Davis, one half of Aussie Open, he's out injured, and they just relinquished both sets of titles in New Japan Pro Wrestling. So, unfortunately, y'all, the injury bug strikes again. And it's been piling up. It's been piling up. So let's continue to keep our prayers lifted up for those that are injured and that they have speedy, well recoveries. But that'll do it for this video. Like I said, don't forget to check out the link to Game Beauty. Let me know what y'all thought of NJPW Strong Resurgence. Did you enjoy the show? What did you think of the matches? What do you think about KENTA winning back the Strong Openweight Championship? How do you feel about Willow Nightingale becoming the first Strong Women's Champion? Yeah, let me know what y'all's thoughts are. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell while you're at it. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. And continue to keep me in your prayers as well. For another Pro Wrestling Talk brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the U to the Tube, I'm your host, Jason Ingram. Hope everybody has a blessed evening, and I will see y'all in the next video. Take care. Peace out.